Watch Fam. What is up, Watch Fam, and welcome to episode 95 of Ask TNH. I'm Christian, your host from Theo and Harris, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays we do Ask TNH, where I just answer some of the questions you guys have asked me throughout the week. I guess before we jump into this, we'll do a wristwatch check. I'm wearing an absolutely beautiful, vintage, very like Seamaster-esque Waltham with beautiful red seconds. That to me is the most striking part of this watch. I really just do love classic watches. I think that sports watches are great. They are. I appreciate them. I appreciate the hell out of them. Don't get me wrong, but I think that gentleman really can be made a lot in a really classic dressy watch. But and this stuff can be dressed down with a suede strap too, so it's not like it's totally pigeonholing you into tuxedos. So anyway, I just have a passion for these kind of watches. So this is available in the shop at theoandharris.com. So check it out, have a little bit of a closer look, read a little bit about it. But let's get into today's episode of Ask TNH. Okay, I wish that today's episode was a rant. Yesterday we released a rant, so go back and check it out. It was a lot about Rolex. I mean, go back and watch yesterday's rant TNH. But the link below, Anna, please put the link below. Anna's our editor. Sorry, Hunter. But there was a release last week by Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe, we thought was going to release their 40th anniversary Nautilus at a fair. Was it Basel? I think Basel World not last year, this year, but a couple months back. But they didn't. They said they were going to release their 40th anniversary Nautilus in October, and they did not lie. They did release their 40th anniversary celebration Nautiluses, not a lie, in October. But the worst ideas that I heard, the worst speculations, people's wackiest ideas of what could be either overwhelming for the sake of being overwhelming or underwhelming just because they were boring. Regular old lay people speculations were better than what Patek actually released. What did Patek release? They released two watches, one in white gold and one in platinum, both Nautilus. The first one was I forget the reference, I don't write the reference right here. But it's basically a 5980 that's way bigger. It's basically 49.5 millimeters in kind of, it's obviously not a fuddled circle, but it's basically 49.5 millimeters. It's a monster. I think, what is it, 5 or 6 millimeters? At least 5 millimeters larger than the 5980, which is already a large watch. So what makes this more special than the 5980, apart from it just being larger? I mean, it's using the same movement. It's the same looking watch, right? It has the same very similar, chronograph kind of, I guess, just layout configuration. Obviously, it's the same functionality, but same configuration. What's special here is they did it in white gold. They made it super large. They did diamond baguettes for the hour markers. And on the dial, they did the 40th anniversary celebration, 1976 to 2016, and that's it. That's the entire. That's the watch. That was the one half of their celebration for the 40th birthday of the Nautilus. I guess I should ask the question: is a 40th birthday an important birthday? Because it seems as if it isn't in the way they handled it. And I had a problem with how Rolex handled the Day-Date's birthday as well. So I have a big problem with birthday celebrations and how watch companies handle them. Actually, Anna, put the link to that article. I wrote that article a couple months ago below, right? Below in the description. Read that article. I think it was very, very good. Probably one of the better articles we've ever posted on Theo and Harris in print. So check that article out. But I have a problem when companies make a really big deal out of anniversaries of watches, and then really, in my opinion, disappoint with what they did in fact release. So Patek released that 5980-esque watch as well as 5711. Basically just the same old 5711 except in platinum, which is significant because they released a couple in platinum, I don't know, a couple years ago, and a bunch of like serious collectors got them, and not a bunch, a very small group of very serious collectors got them, and they've kind of been like this, sea monster, of the Patek Nautilus world since. You rarely ever see them. Occasionally one pops up on Instagram, but that's really it. So that is kind of cool they did it in platinum. But apart from that, it was that brighter blue dial, this anniversary celebration on the dial, and baguettes. Overall, I'm not going to dissect each watch further than I already have, because I didn't really, but I don't think it's that important. What I want to do here is kind of say holistically, in a macro sense, what they did and what I think that they should have done. So what did they do? I think that they missed an enormous opportunity to make something special and meaningful. Not just something new, not just something rare, not just something precious, because everything is new, rare, and precious these days, but something actually meaningful. Something that kind of strikes a chord with people that, buy Patek and don't buy Patek. People that could buy Patek in 2 seconds, and people that probably will never be able to afford to buy Patek in their life. Because I think that striking chords with an entire market of people is important. It creates a sentimentality around the brand. It creates this, this allure to you that, yes, you are the best, and I almost want to resent you for being the best, but I just love you so much because, I recognize why you are the best. Like, you're really meaningful. Not only your watch is great, but your company is just pretty. It was the whole thing together. It's the fact that the whole commemoration rested on precious metals, diamonds, and an oversized watch. That to me was such a shallow move on Patek's part. I don't care about any one of those things individually, but in culmination together for such a hype, for this long hype, to release that is ridiculous, to be frank. What they should have done instead of all this, instead of this, precious metal, oversized, or just super rare, super expensive, what are the retail prices here? Put them here and here. I don't remember the retail prices, guys. They're here and here. Astronomical amounts of money, really ridiculous stuff. I don't know. I just put it this way. I feel like you don't need to be that smart or that inventive or that creative. You don't need to be the best to just make an expensive thing. Any company could slap a bunch of diamonds and a precious metal and make it a rarity and say, oh, this is a celebration. It's not fun. To me, I think that the real meaningful move, which is what I'm going to propose here, would have been just something a little bit more heartfelt. Here's my opinion, what I would have done. I would have done a Nautilus, 5711, let's just keep it at that, to keep it simple. I would have removed the second hand, okay, because to throw it back to the original 3700, right, just a little bit of an homage. I'd remove the second hand, I'd have a 5711, maybe a slight change in dial color just to make it a little bit special, because anyone could really take off the second hand of their 5711 probably and pretend as if they have the anniversary watch, but maybe change the dial color a little bit, maybe a little bit brighter or a little bit something, so something a little bit different that couldn't have been so easily mimicked. And then the real substantial difference, which really would have been relatively superficial as far as production, if I was Patek, I would have taken the rotor, if I were Patek, I'd have taken the rotor, and I would have not put the Patek, Philippe emblem on the gold rotor so largely. Maybe at the tippy top or at the very bottom I would have put it, but I would have put a message from Terry Stern and the Patek Philippe family. That's what I would have done. I would have said something, I don't know, I didn't write this out beforehand, so I don't really know what I would have written, but I would have written something heartfelt, something, congratulating the Nautilus, because the Nautilus is an amazing, amazing watch. The Nautilus has defied what it means to be luxurious. The Nautilus has redefined what it means to be quality, an icon. Something about a steel sports watch, redefining a generation or redefining a medium or something like that, making an enormous impact. And then maybe like a cheers or a toast or some French word that says like, to us, those who change the market and those who appreciate the change or something like that. Something that I would have read it and been like, whoa, that was kind of cool. Something emotional that, although yes, the rotors had been mass produced, of course, they still would have meant something. So in my impression, the reaction to that watch would have been, the people, put it this way, on social media, the reaction would have been, whoa, like, classy move, Patek, like, thanks for kind of, showing restraint, but being a little bit more heartfelt, classy move. The reaction from the people who were wearing it and the people who were seeing other people wear it, whether that's at a watch meetup, whether that's wherever the hell it is, people would have saw this 5711, seen it, and no second hand. Oh wait, that dial color, holy shit, is that? I mean, is that the anniversary? Is that the 40th anniversary Nautilus? And that rotor would be one of the most famous rotors in history. The 40th anniversary Nautilus could have been home to one of the most famous messages and notes in watchmaking history. And that is really cool. And maybe that's for the 50th. Maybe they're saving the good ideas for another 10 years from now. But to me, I still think that they just missed a big opportunity to do something really beautiful and impressive that I think we all would have appreciated. The one thing I will give Patek that was a total layup, by the way, was the cork box. Great, thank you so much. Everyone should have agreed that that was something they should have done, and if they didn't, it would have been disappointment. I'm not going to give them kudos for doing it. I'm going to say, good, you saved yourself. Because if you didn't do that, that would have been ridiculous. I don't know. Maybe you could have even done every Nautilus, even if you didn't want to make a whole new watch. Even if you wanted to just make it just the cork box, you could have sold every Nautilus sold from in this whole year with a cork box. You know, that would have been an interesting thing, you know, to remind everyone of one of the basic icons that we still chase today, this cork box, right? Sorry to sound so, I guess, full of my own ideas, but I think that my idea is classier, and I think it's just better than what Patek would have done. I think you guys would have appreciated it a lot more to have a massive, massive, massive company, a prestigious company, that one of the best companies in the watch world, speak to us like humans for one time. You know, speak to us and say like, hey guys, we may have created it, but you guys, you know, made it what it is. You know, thank you and cheers. Thank you guys for watching episode 95 of Ask T&H. I would imagine you guys also hated the Nautilus, because I haven't heard one positive, you know, thing on it all day. So, you know, write down and below your thoughts, you know, QOTD. Let's hear what you think about this, this new, in my opinion, awful release. Check it out.